What's up, everybody? So I am about to spend a very special moment with my buddy, Eric Patrick Thomas, about that moment. Welcome to that moment. And I'm going to be bringing you, as I always do, really, really fascinating people that I'm still learning from and people that you can learn from. They may not be the people that everybody knows in the world, but they are people, oh, trust me, that you can learn from and you can then go ahead and apply it yourself. And as I've been getting back onto this new platform, to me, of podcasts, what I realize is I want to loosen it up a little bit. I want to have more fun with it. And I like it and this is something you can take away. I want you to take away from this. When you are out there in the public eye like I am, and you're doing a lot of television, well, you got to do these things with sound bites, right? Got all these lights and producers. They're like, oh, you got to get this in. We only have literally for the whole interview that you're going to speak a half an hour. We're only going to use 3 minutes of it. But the beautiful thing is, you all know, and that's why you listen to podcasts sometimes, you're just a fly on the wall or you're in the room. We're going to just loosen these things up. So no better way to loosen it up than with somebody and talking about a topic that is very hard for all of us to speak to or imagine, and it can all happen to us in 1 second. And it can alter our lives, and we have seen it alter many, many, many other people's lives. Then my buddy, Eric Patrick Thomas, Eric, tell us about that little incident that you did not expect that may have been that moment. We'll go over several moments that happened to you a couple of years ago. Tell us the story.
Feels like a couple years ago. But thanks for the introduction. I'm happy to be here. Great to be on here again, to be with you. And yes, that actually happened almost 26 years ago.
Wow.
I was 20 years old, hip-hop artist, had my group Miscellaneous. We're celebrating a music project achievement, okay? So we got the celebration party. I'm in the house like I normally am. For some reason, I just stood up in mid-conversation talking to the girl that I was talking to. Walked outside, down the steps, in the parking lot, and I was just going to go check the parking lot to make sure everything was going well. Everybody was, nothing was happening. Everybody was staying away from the neighbors. Maybe out there for 5 minutes. I came back. I was by the first step, sitting there talking to that girl I was talking to on the steps inside the house, and then the DJ was next to her. And then, all of a sudden, just within a flash, quicker than a strike of lightning, and someone came around the DJ van and pulled the gun and opened fire. I got hit in the neck, in the third and fourth vertebrae. I spun to the side, so I spun to my left, because they shot me from the backside. Then the other one grazed the back of the skull. Instantly, I dropped to the cement, and basically I was lifeless. I couldn't breathe on my own. I couldn't yell out for help. I couldn't move, but I could hear things going on. People screaming. Remember, this is 1997, so there's not really cell phones, more landlines and pagers. And I could hear someone's been shot, Eric's been shot. And actually, when I heard that someone's been shot, I even tried to I got to help that person. But then I realized, it's me. I'm the one. I'm the person too. And I was just holding out for life. And I was like, man, I'm 20. I've been trying to accomplish so many goals. This doesn't end here. This can't be happening.
What did they were they coming there to shoot you, or it was just the overall whatever's going on?
We don't know. Most of the bullets were in my direction, but there was never a real police investigation. The police said, you do music like this, that's what comes with the territory. So mixed crowd, they wrote it off. Tried to
to be clear, I know that you are in Flint, correct?
Yeah.
Were you? Was that in Flint as well at the time?
It was in Lansing because I was going to school for photography at Lansing Community College. So I was on the
All right.
north side of Lansing.
So that moment happened. You are just chilling. You are just checking on people. You're going upstairs randomly. A whole nother issue that a lot of people here can relate to. You were hit several times, and you are now, and you have been since that point. How do you describe your status right now as a functioning human being? What would you describe as who you are right now?
Well, I would say I'm just
Physically.
paralyzed. Yeah, paralyzed from the neck down. That's how I would describe it. Person first language, Eric is paralyzed from the neck down. And you'd say I'm unable to move my arms or legs. So I use everything. I control my environment using my mouth, my breath, my eyes, my chin. That's how I
Right.
control things.
So you can you, what is it called? Is it a what would the
They would
definition
call
be?
uh quadriplegic or tetraplegic sometimes.
Tetraplegic? What is a
Well, it's like
tetraplegic?
same thing. It's just kind of
Oh,
it's
I thought
yeah.
you were just super advanced in Tetris.
It was I am. I'm really advanced in Tetris. I'm like the Tetris of your Monopoly.
Yeah. So by the way, everybody, let me tell you, Eric's story. He does have an assisted vehicle that he rides around in, very much like a souped up form of a wheelchair. I'm gonna speed up where we are today with him. He uses a device that, if you could see him, it's in his mouth. When he blows into it, looks like a straw, and he operates his vehicle to move around. And Eric, how long did it take you to get ready to start your day?
Well, we're getting better because I've had the same person for so many years. But I start anywhere between like 6, and then I'm up in the chair by about 8:45.
Okay, I want people to be very clear. It takes you an average of about, and you're cutting down the time. You wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and by the time you are ready to start your day, it is 3 hours.
But 7. eh, Well, that's not just to start the day. That's just getting in the chair.
Oh,
You got to get adjusted. The person's got to adjust your body, make sure that you're in the chair properly. Then you got to eat breakfast, brush your teeth, take your vitamins.
mm,
So I start work starts for me at 9:15 Monday through Friday. My work hours are 9:15 to 5:15.
got it. How long did it take you to now to get settled back to go to bed?
Uh, Maybe about an hour or so.
Okay.
It's a little different. You get lifted out of the chair in a sling, and you get put over the bed, and then you get down into the bed, and then the caregiver's got to strip you down. Man, it's like stripping a car. So
Right.
it's strip your clothes and take your bag
Yeah.
off and put a night bag on, and you got to do skin check because that's important, man. Because if you don't,
Skin check. So I'm setting the stage to let people know that, first of all, this is not an easy situation for anybody, and we are, and I know that you talk about your community because you are a public speaker and a motivational speaker, as well as, you have an incredible brand which is called Inspire. I think you got a pop-up coming up soon, or
my
some then.
birthday, July 6th next. Yeah,
Right. So anybody listening to you right now, please go and check out, what is it, inspire.com, or where can we get you? Where can we find your stuff at?
inspireshirt.com.
All right, Inspire Shirt. Inspireshirt.com. You call your community the invisible because, of course, we don't think about those who, and so many Americans have been in these challenging and are currently in these challenging situations. But I want to ask you something because of, there's so many people that we meet that they have all their body functions are working. They're living in a decent home. They're eating, 3, sometimes 5 meals a day. They have their children. They have access to education, and they can run right down the block right now if they want to. And they think that their life is over. And it could be, we also have mental illness in this country, right? But when was that moment that when did you hear, or I'm sorry, you didn't need to hear it. Maybe you thought you would just get better, but what did they say to tell you that you were paralyzed from the neck down? And after that, when did you decide? Obviously, you decide you want to live and you're going to move forward in life and you're going to be a productive. Not only you're going to live and be, but you're going to inspire other people. But when did you decide to do that? Because listen, I had the slowest growing form of cancer that anybody can ever have in my neck, and I saw that, and I was like, okay, it's over. I'm done. Take my neck. Oh, I'm going to drink myself into a hole because I've had the best life ever and I don't want to rot away. And then I looked at myself and said, what the hell are you doing feeling sorry for yourself? I want to know, with something 10,000 times more grave, when you found out, and tell me how you found out that you were paralyzed, when did you decide? Was it then? Was it 4 years after that? When did you decide, I'm not going to let this stop me?
That's a great question. When I was finally alert again, I had 4 screws in my head. I got intubated with my mouth. So there's a tube breathing for me, this machine life support that I'm surrounded by, my mom, stepdad, dad, stepmom, and some other people. And then that's where the doctor and they tell you, because you're trying to move and you're like, but I'm not stable. The first goal that really was set was to live. It was kind of at that moment, it's like, oh, there's more to this. Like I said, when I got shot, it was like, I was right there at the top of the world and it crashed in a second. And so at that very moment, it was just like, I know there's more. There's got to be more. This isn't done. Like, it felt very unfinished that I needed to be staying on this earth. And of course, now that we see, but, I just held on. I knew that I had to survive. And I wanted to, no matter whatever the situation was. I said that. I was like, it doesn't matter what the heck it is going on. I gotta roll through this, and like I said at the beginning, it was just to survive because it took a couple weeks to get really stabilized,
Right.
So that was,
Was there anything at that moment that you realized that you looked at as a target or a goal you wanted to hit that you said, I'm not only going to survive, but I'm going to thrive?
no, the first goal in the very beginning is to survive.
Right.
And then once I was stable, then you established another goal. And that was where we had to learn about rehab. And it was to breathe. So just to do this.
Just to breathe.
Just to breathe. That was the next goal. That was the goal, even to go to rehab, to get off the ventilator, because at that time, after a couple of weeks, they said I would never breathe again. So they took the tube, which is called intubation, and they put it in your throat. They could make a cut in your throat called a tracheotomy.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So now the tube is in your throat, and the machine, which is life support, is breathing for you. That's what it is. And so the goal was to breathe.
Oh, okay. So first of all, you got a goal to breathe. Now, when the hell, throughout that whole time of to breathe, you decided, I'm going to start a company? Now, why would you do that?
Well, I've always had a dream as a child to own my own clothing brand.
Mm-hmm.
I used to wear my shirt inside out and visualize my name spelled backwards. CIRE, which is interesting because that's what's in the trademark of Inspire, is actually, my name backwards, and the P is a backwards C. So I know it blows your mind. I know. I was like, wow. I've always had that dream, hip hop, the culture of hip hop, everything. And I just wanted to have my own clothing brand. So while I'm laying in the hospital, I'm not like, oh, I got to live because I got this and this to do. But I did have some type of goal. I just didn't know what that goal was. And also, I didn't realize I would be mentoring people in rehab. I didn't even know it was considered mentoring, but it wasn't until I came home March 20th of 98 when I'm on SSI or SSDI. And I'm like, well, and now I'm talking because I'm off the ventilator because I accomplished that goal. Where's my business mentor or somebody that's going to help me be self-sufficient? So basically this system at that time was just like, well, you don't, you just kind of just stay home. And I'm like, no, that's not going to work with me. I need to figure out how to create something because
Yeah.
I want to get back to like, I want to have a family, or like, I want to be able to be self-sufficient and grow and things like that. And it was like employment side, it wasn't really happening. People with disabilities just started getting employed. So it was like, and also based on like my lifestyle, um, it basically became like, a business owner. I started learning like what it was like to be a business owner. Not to mention when I started hiring my own caregivers, because Medicare and Medicaid at Disability Network set up self-determination for me. I became a business owner like almost overnight too. Like in about a month, I was now a business owner, managing people for my care, doing schedules, doing timesheets, everything.
Well, that's
So
interesting, right? Because everybody here who's listening, whether it's their parents themselves or whoever, right? I never thought of it like that. You have to actually consider you are the business if you are hiring caregivers.
yeah, right now I'm running two businesses simultaneously. I have the business of my life because I have
Mm.
24-hour care. Like you have to constantly make sure that someone's coming in, someone, running a business. You know how it is when you run a business.
No, no, no. But hold on. But this is crucial because whether you are in your situation, you're an everyday person. People don't think of themselves as whether they're right, their health, their personal finance, how they're managing their home and their time as their business. They think about, well, I'm going to work on this business that I'm investing in, or I'm going to work on, this business that I work at. But I think isn't that a way to think about how that moment when you realize that you're personally in business, your time with your family, your health, how what time you need to get up and get into that chair. You need to start at 6, so you're hitting, as you're hitting, your work at 9:15. You have people coming in and out of your house, or how are you utilizing whatever you have as equity in your home or your community. I think that's important. I got a random question. I remember talking to a friend of mine who happened to be incarcerated for a long period of time, and he had a woman that that he that he married, or not married. He was dating, and they were dating, from basically communicating for so long, and then he ended up, I think, marrying her or something like that, and she got to visit him in jail, and he got certain privileges, obviously, that, for his human needs as well as compassion. And then he divorced her. I asked him, why would you divorce her? And he said, I'm doing life in prison, a double life. And she kept calling me with her damn problems. So, uh, who the hell calls somebody with double life with their problems, right? And he said, I couldn't take their problems, y- you know, um, her problems. So I decided to go on my own. He's in jail. Now, do people tell you their problem?
All the time.
What and so what is a person do you ever look at them and say, uh, I can't help you. Why? Because I physically can't help you, or I mentally can't help you, or what the hell is your problem? And they're like, well, I just told you my damn problem.
Yeah, when
Wait, wait. Also, do people try to borrow money from you?
yes, yep, because they see the social media, they see who I'm around, they see. I'm thinking like, do you know how much I'm struggling? Do you realize that this country
I
has
don't
got
find it
like
funny.
complete barriers to try and have a person with a disability work, and then without penalty? Like, do you realize that like
I mean, how?
somebody
To
can
what
be paid?
extent do they tell you the problem? They be like, yo, do me a favor. Can you help me lift this? I mean, what?
Yeah,
What is
I've
the?
heard that. I've heard everything. I've heard they, like that's like the I used to have this thing like people say that this you just wouldn't believe. Like I have people like, can you slide over so I can sit down? My legs are shaking. This is just a random person on public. This is a random person on public.
They asked
I
to
don't,
use your chair.
yeah, to sit
They
down
were
with
joking.
me.
They were they were joking, right?
No, they're not joking. Or they'd be like, man, you got the best seat. You got the
Well,
best seat.
I know, that's adding levity, because I know this opposite. you're in on the joke with somebody. See, you sent me some really, really bad dad jokes, but you tell me that somebody be like, "Yo, man, can you slide over for a second?"
Yeah, like, "Could you slide over? Because my legs are tight." They're I'm like, "You look like it's I'm sitting like a luxury or something." No, this isn't like, this is another thing too. Anytime 2 people with wheelchair, like, like, say it's like the grocery aisle or we're meeting up somewhere, it does not ever go like somebody is like, "Oh, shoot, about to be a race, and you 2 don't be racing. I have to give you guys a speeding ticket." I'm thinking like, "What is wrong with you?" But, like, every time,
So you
they
can't.
about to race.
I listen. It's sometimes it's a really, really big room, and there's not as many African Americans in that room. Now there are two ways to address it. There's either for some reason, they gotta stay away from each other. They're like, don't let's not act like we all know each other. And I'm like, no, let's act like we know each other and we need more in this room. So you ever out and see somebody in a wheelchair and be like, don't say nothing to me, homie. Don't say nothing to me. You know what I mean? We no nobody sees us here.
No, sometimes we could do that. It just depends on the situation, but other times, you might get the ones that are like, "Hey, I'm the wheelchair guy. What you doing here? Which whip am I turning? I'm the one that's at this party. I'm the one that's, hey." So
Or do you like are you
start getting
or
ignorant, so
I mean, but why don't you guys just start becoming haters and just take up the supermarket aisle, just two of you guys, and then somebody will come with a cart, they got a big full cart, and be like, yo, what's your problem, man? Why don't you go around? There's no room around here. Oh, I wish I had legs. That sure is nice. Do you ever do that?
you have to feel the person out that you're bumping into because it's a person that you don't know maybe.
Right.
But yeah, oh yeah, especially parking, accessible parking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man, the people parking that's like VIP right there. That's like
Right.
VIP without, the person gonna park the car for them.
Right.
Oh, you just made me think of this is a moment in time. This person came into the shop and wanted to get some graphic work done.
Hmm.
Okay. He wanted to do some lawn care. All right. Okay. We were about to leave and he held the door for me. Came out. He was like, "I held the door for you. Do I get a discount? Do I get a discount?" And he was like, and then he said, "You can't move anything?" And I said, "No, I'm paralyzed from the account." He said, "Oh, that sucks. Like, what is wrong with you?" And then, of course,
Well,
his truck, he had his pickup truck was completely painted in the back window. So it all kind of made sense a little bit.
yeah. Well, let's go into that though. And thank you for being, having the levity to let people know that no matter where you're at, like no matter how bad you think you're doing, somebody else thinks that they got a problem worse than yours, right? But let's talk about it. So your shop, you have a shop, so you don't only do inspire, right? Because you do awareness by design, right?
Yeah.
Or
You see awareness by design.
it's what's it called, easy awareness by design. So you not only do it yourself, for your brand, but you do it for other people, and where do you think, if right now, because a lot of people don't have goals, and your goals will of course be lofty because of obviously you have bigger hurdles than anybody has, and anybody says that you don't have big hurdles, then be crazy. Where are your goals right now? How do you stay focused on them? And how can people learn from you? Because I want to bring up one other point about this. When COVID came around, I was checking on you, and because obviously you have already challenges with breathing due to that's it, right? You were bedridden. You were in the bed with sores on your body. You did not get out of the bed right around COVID, I believe. How long were you? How long were you in bed that you could not physically get out of the bed?
Well, the whole duration from March 1st of 2018 to December 20th of 2019 was 800 plus days.
You were literally in the bed in your home 800 days.
Separated. Remember when I got up like a year and a half later for 3 weeks and then I relapsed and I was down for 19 more weeks. The only time that I was getting up was go to the urologist to get my tube changed, which was every 2 weeks, and then go to the the wound care center so that they could cut and sizzle me like a steak, man. I'm telling you, man, they sizzle my butt, man, like a steak. People would come in and say, "Is Eric in here?" I'm like, man, that so much pain. I was biting on that pillow. I literally was biting on that pillow when they were trying to close the hole.
So when the moments out of the 800, so basically 3 years in bed, or
Yeah,
two 2.5 years, literally physically in the bed. Out of that, the only time you got up was to go and get some painful thing done to you. I know that you've been moving around bits. So, oh, by the way, I connected you with 10X Gary Brecka,
shout out
and
to
I
Gary
believe
Brecka.
Grant Cardone, right? And he donated a lot of his time and a lot of medicine and technology to you because I was telling him about your bed sores and he doesn't get the credit that he deserves for this.
Yeah, actually, meeting Gary, our initial meetup when he heard about when I was on bed rest before, because I was already healed, but he was trying to figure out what caused it. We worked on we coordinated with my doctor and stuff, and we did a full blood panel, a full panel of everything. Come to find out, my testosterone was dangerously low. So we were able to have that information and be able to work with my doctor and actually get me on, testosterone therapy and stuff. And actually, I was able to bring the numbers up, from that. There's a lot of things that I've learned through him with the deficiency, lots of, lack of oxygen. There's so much stuff that he really talks
Now you have almost never called me, and I remember. Listen, I flew you out to Shark Tank. You had a good time, right? Your caregivers came out, and we got some videos of you spinning around and doing some wheelies on the Shark Tank set. We were all inspired by you, of course, and Cuban and all of us. But you've never called me for anything at all, zero. And the only thing you had called me for, say, hey, I can't get a hold of this guy named Gary Brecka that you're checking out on that I see you with, and I hit him up in Grant Cardone, and I know that they took care of you. So I want to make sure that I acknowledge that because a lot of people don't know about the great work that Gary has done and is doing.
Yeah.
And he worked with your doctors and he helped you, right?
He still does. I mean, we still communicate. I just texted him a couple of days ago about this air quality, the PM 2.5s that we're dealing with right now. I mean, Gary's very intelligent when it comes to the understanding of your body with the violation and stuff. He is able to explain that process very well, like the oil refinery. You bring oil up out the ground and it turns into, fuel. There's a process. Well, our body does that same stuff. And a lot of times, like everything is, the lack of oxygen is, is that. That's how it is. And if you start to find out that you don't have this problem, you have a deficiency problem, and that's where, like I said, I got some medication, some pills and stuff like that. So and it's helped out tremendously. So I mean, it's just a great person to have,
Right.
and I really really appreciate it. His team and stuff, they've been nothing but amazing, and
So I want to make so yeah, absolutely. I didn't want to turn this into a 10X 10X Health Gary Brecka Grant Cardone commercial, but you know what, it's easy to talk shit about a lot of people out there in the world, and people like to hear that. But when we give acknowledgement to somebody like that who took care of you out of just a phone call for free, still on the phone with you, helped change in your life in a positive way, has not told anybody about it, I think it needs to acknowledge it. So now let's go over to the point that I wanted everybody to take away from here is, how do you set long-term goals now? And how do you find the power to do so? Because, I just touched on little things like you being bed rest almost 3 years, right? Straight from, besides a couple of 2 or 3 weeks here, paralyzed from the waist down, right? The Senate, you've talked, the neck down. Excuse me, you've talked to everybody from the Senate on, and a lot of these rules and regulations are not changing in the country. You obviously, you went through COVID just like all of us. If that thing got anywhere near you, you were done, 100% done, right? And that was COVID hit right after you were in the bed, 800 and something days straight. Now you got to be locked up in the house.
I know, man. We just got the van too.
How the hell do you set goals? And how do people right now who are listening to this, who are obviously going through very challenging times, we all are, what do you do to stay focused on those goals?
Well, well, first we got to talk about how did I learn how to actually set goals?
Right.
Because I would have goals, but I didn't write them down.
Oh,
I didn't create the target, and that's not until like I started helping you with your book campaigns. So once
right.
I was learning like all this campaign stuff, how to do the book campaigns, and then the different things that we were learning with you with the academy. There's a lot of things that I learned, like what you were teaching and what you were, was big. You were very strict on goals. Writing out your 6 months goals, going
Yeah,
back, having that.
I still am. I'm very strict on it. I probably need to listen to myself a little bit more. Yeah, I do. I read them over every night, but people could follow up on my goal setting techniques. But you know what? Honestly, I slip for a week sometimes or whatever, but I get back on it. Okay.
But it's the main thing that what you just said just now to your audience is that I do slip. That you're
Yeah.
not like so because people try to a lot of time when people are out there teaching that type of stuff, they take it word for word. They don't realize that yes, you can have a good day or a better day, and that yeah, you made a slip, you didn't reach your goals. That's how you might not have read them for the whole week. But because you're accountable for your own self, that you go back and you say, look, but I am, I make my 6 months goals, my health goals.
Well, I gotta tell you something. Also, I gotta tell you something you brought to mind. Or when I don't do my goals for a certain time, I get this anxiety in me about I don't really feeling this way, or actually, let's say, and actually, a lot of my goals expired July 4th. So maybe that's why I've been so intense the last couple of days. Going, why am I uncomfortable right now? And I think that what those goals do, especially when you slip, it almost makes you say, damn, you know what? I'm so much more effective when I'm reading those goals. Let me get back to it. It's almost like that warm bed you have, and when you go on trips or traveling or whatever the case is, and you get back to the warm bed, you go, God damn, I missed this bed. And I think that, do you ever feel that way sometimes? Because I think sometimes I turn around and go,
Miss the bed,
but yeah, yeah,
I
right.
feel like that on the days. I feel like oh man, I just spent like an hour doing nothing. Where I hear like Eric, you want to get a house, Eric, you want this Inspire store. What are you doing? Like, if you're serious about it. The other thing too is when goals are life changing, you'll do whatever. Well, that's the thing.
Wait, don't casually run over that. You just casually said that because then I think that, you're talking to me and I'm watching you.
Yeah.
We're watching each other. You're taking these breaths, right? You're like, goals are life changing, you said. And you just said something, don't take that. What did you just say?
Yeah, when they're life changing, you'll do whatever to make it.
You'll do whatever. I mean,
You'll think, you'll sleep while you're eating, everything. You're gonna be you won't you want to get that accomplished. When it came to the van, that's a life changing thing to get that goal for the van.
for you to get a van.
To get that
That was a life changing goal.
van. It took us 18 months when we did it.
And you would do whatever.
We were able to do it. We had a support system. Thank you everyone that helped out with it. But that was the goal. And we were able to establish those goals.
So right now, people have goals. They're driving in the car right now. They're on the subway. They're in the office. They're on the treadmill. Whatever the case is, they're walking. Whatever. They're at home, right? And Daymond John, they're not here to listen to me at the moment. They're here to listen to me extract whatever I can to learn from you. What do people do right now who want to accomplish such big things and they feel that they have, and they do have, whatever their limitations are? What do you say to them? What is your mindset? And if they don't think like this, what do you think is going to happen? So tell me what they should think and things that you use to help you.
Well, first, one of the things I always say, don't say can't, always say how. When you say can't, you have assassinated your own dream and your goals.
Mm.
So you have self-sabotaged yourself. When you say how is an open building block that happens when you sleep, when you're awake. And that is what you need to do.
To build on that, as Napoleon Hill and various other people said, even if you say, there's no way that I will let people hold me back, in your goal, when you're reading it, your subconscious mind also picks up "hold me back." So even if you said, people say it can't be done, but I will do it. I want people to pick that up, right? Because it's almost as we describe, if you're driving a car and you're spinning out of control, a racer. Um, when they say don't look at the wall, you keep looking at the wall to turn away. You're going to go toward the wall. They say turn the other way. So as you read or as you listen to your goals, it is, how can I accomplish? The words accomplish, do, succeed, surpass, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's when people are trying to figure out what to do with life, I always tell them, write out what your best day looks like. What's your best day look like? Where would you be? What would you be working? What's your career? What would you be eating? What would you be drinking? What environment? Think outside the box. I don't care if you think that you're some floating around in the sky somewhere. But start making that, write that all out, and it's a working document. And then now that you know what your best day in your whole life looks like, make it happen. How can you make that happen?
Can we dig deeper into that? Because if my best day was, I tell everybody this story. I love this restaurant I used to go to. They made the most amazing chicken wings. I go and then I decide to invest in the restaurant. Before I know it, I'm dealing with people who don't want to show up to work. I'm dealing with perishable goods. I'm dealing with a bunch of crap. I'm like, you know what? Be careful what you ask for. I just wanted the damn chicken wings. And now I got to do all this. So when they look at what your best day looks like, often even as kids, they want to say, hey, I want to be a horse racer. And if a teacher says, and we've learned from my teacher group, okay, well, let me lay out all the things you need to do during the week. You got to shoe the horses. You got to, clean up their crap. You got to exercise. You got to do this and that. Well, kids are like, I ain't trying to do that. Yeah. So when you write out that best day, don't write out the accomplishment of how you just got that cheese at the end of the maze. Write out the maze going through that day to make sure that that's the day you want.
Yeah, because that brings up a good point of accomplishing goal. A lot of people just like to write out and say they want something. It's kind of like, when someone, when they talk about winning the lottery, they'll be like, man, if I get that, I win that lottery, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And you're like, well, what numbers did you play? They're like, oh, I don't play the lottery. Why are you talking about it? You know what I mean? Like, people like to talk about stuff. They talk, but they don't. The action doesn't happen. And when something is really going to change, you are going to you're going to do whatever you can to try and climb that mountain to the top so that you can scream at the world and say, I did it. And then you're going to go, oh, what's the next goal? Like, that's the thing. That's what it feels like when you get there. We got that van. That day was amazing. When we recorded it, everything worked out so beautiful. We weren't there in person, man, but it was so life-changing, and being able to have that moment with my family, both of my dads, both of my moms, you and George, and it was just like, man, like, it was so written. And it was Inspire Friday.
Yeah.
It was the 20th. It was beautiful, man.
It is always amazing to talk to you. And I think the one thing that I've taken away from you is, and it is like, you got to trademark this or whatever, but I mean, however you put it is, when you're focused on your goals, you'll do whatever. And you can say whatever, in the hood way, right? Because I think that is, everybody can really relate to that and understand it, because anything they've ever wanted to do, they've done whatever. Now we hope that they're going to apply themselves, because the jails are filled with people who did whatever to accomplish the goal, and maybe the goal was the right goal, but they didn't, their path to accomplishing that goal probably wasn't the best way and the most efficient way, because once they got the goal, or maybe they never even got it, they ended up in the wrong place for it, because the whole purpose to get to that goal is to enjoy it, right? There's bank robbers who will never enjoy the money, right? So I think that is one of the most powerful things you've ever said. I'm going to leave this and allow you to close it out. But to summarize and break down what I've learned from you, as I always do, and you're one of the most inspiring people. Number one, people are going to ask you when you can't even move anything on your body besides your head and your neck. People are going to ask you for help.
Yeah.
Well, how the hell people ask a a quadriplegic for money to move over so they can sit down and ask you to help carry shit. So if they're gonna ask you for help, don't anybody ever complain about somebody asking them for some shit, because there's some sick puppies out here in the world, you know?
There's a
Uh,
lot of stories I could share.
it's a sick puppy. You know what? Honestly, that's your social media thing. Like once a week, let me tell you about somebody who asked me for help, you know?
Yeah.
I think another thing is, trials. I mean, trials and tribulations come out of nowhere, right? Boom, you got shot. You're hanging out on steps. Change your life forever. Would put you in a circumstance where you're here for 26 years, even prior to COVID, in bed over 800 days straight, bed sores on your body, and then COVID hits,
Yeah.
and you're still getting up because you are setting goals and you have a bigger, bigger vision in life. And with that kind of tenacity and that kind of focus, everybody can learn from that. And after that, I think the most important thing is, as we said, when you set a goal, you can accomplish whatever. So I'm gonna let you close it out with some final thoughts. And of course, shout out to Gary Brecker and all the healthcare people, the people that take care of you every single day, the people that you have. Yeah, and also something else I learned from you: make sure you operate your personal life like a business. It is a bit. Don't take care of everybody else's business. Take care of your business too. And what else you got? Close us out, Eric, because I can talk to you forever about these things.
I know, we're discussing like when people come down, that you can still ask me for it, because one of the things that we do is we're making this world a better place. We're mentoring people, so when you mentor, you help people help themselves. That's the thing. I do a lot of this stuff, the advocating and the things I do is for the person of the future that's coming. I pay homage to the people that pave the way and blaze the path for me to make my life a more quality of life. So I'm doing the exact same thing to the future, for the now, for the future, and for the present. The other thing too is having a real good circle of supports. Your support system is so crucial, because this helps with your quality of life. You cannot be more thankful and grateful for your support system. That's why I always say, the gratitude talks. I'm just happy and grateful for the support system. That's a big difference. You have supports, that's a big difference there and everything. But you want to live and you want to set your goals, you want to set your paths, then go out and make it happen. And if you're scared to even, try something, just do it, because you don't want to live life woulda, shoulda, coulda. You want to just say, look, I tried it, I failed, then I learned from it. Failure is great because it helps you grow. That's the best thing, man. When you fail at some things, you're like, well, I'm not going to do that again. Or you pick up something else and you do something else. You can't move forward without failure. It's just not going to happen. You'll never be able to you got to take scratches and bruises. You got to be beat down and get right back up. Beat down and get right back up. Resilience. Resilience is going to get you to grow, and you're going to be hungry. When I was laying in the bed for all those days, you could not imagine when I get out of this bed and back in my chair, I'm going to be unstoppable. I can't wait to accomplish everything, because when you're in bed, you're psychological, your mind, everything is heavy on you. You can't concentrate. It's a difficult matter, but you push through it, and here you are. And the one thing I could tell you every day is I pray every day in the morning. So that's the thing. You have to have faith. Faith has got me to where I am. It pushes me. It carries me. And I would be nowhere without it.
Yeah.
And the people that shot me, I gave forgiveness. So that's the other thing.
Wow.
You want a moment in time. You forgive whom shot you. The priest came into my room, and I said, yes, I couldn't speak audio, but my mouth that I was, and I said it with conviction. And that's the thing. That's why my life is better and not bitter, because I have the forgiveness. I cut that cord and sailed and let my life, never ever did I let that situation affect me.
I think that the most powerful thing about that moment, you gave forgiveness for somebody who could have taken your life and various other things, and you got shot. And I think that moment is what people will ever think about, as well as so many jewels that you've said in here. And I believe that moment really is when somebody's going to hear this dialogue between you and I and say, like I do. Because whenever I have a hard day, I think, what would Eric Patrick Thomas do today? And what is he going through? Why the hell, Dame, are you even thinking about complaining? And I think that moment is when somebody listens to this. So I thank you, man. Thank you for always inspiring me and inspiring us. Thank you for all that you do, man. And I look forward to more of our conversations. And thank you for always hitting me on the text with Inspire Friday, brother. Thank you.
That's right. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
All right.
Peace out, everyone.
All right, peace.
Thanks for watching. I wish you love empowering your life. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. Check you later.